Yes, guys. I hope you're good. Welcome to the Coolest Chance podcast. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the link to everyone that you know. I'll appreciate it. Also, I would like to thank my new subscribers. Please, guys, help me to bring more people so that the channel can grow. So today I'm with Jerry C. Is the owner of Blue Broad and Nurses channel. So guys, please also support this channel. He's a Chelsea fan. It talks more sense about Chelsea Football Club than many people. But today's podcast is all about Mauricio Pochettino in, Mauricio Pochettino out. And I will be representing the Mauricio Pochettino out fans. Jersey will be representing the Mauricio Pochettino in fans. So overall, Jersey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Tibeho. It's always a pleasure and a very tough topic you have chosen, right? So let's see how it goes. And whatever I say, my fate depends on Pochettino, to be very honest. I am in the spotlight.
Yeah, that's on you. But anyway, this podcast is all about opinions. So please, guys, we don't have to hate each other. Everyone have his or her own opinion about the club, the coaches, everything. So unfortunately, we don't have the same mindset. But now, since the podcast started, I'm gonna say few things about Mauricio Pochettino that I don't like. Right? Let's start from the preseason. This is why I'm Poch out. During the preseason, Mauricio Pochettino sold us a dream about Chelsea doing good this season. During the preseason, we were playing very well, right? Having a style of play, the players know their roles, and most of Chelsea fans were excited about Mauricio Pochettino. Okay, let's give him time. Yes, it's a former Spurs time, a coach. I mean, so let's give him time. Let's see what he'll do in the season. So we started the first game against the Liverpool, right? He played very Chilwell as a left winger, right? Okay, let's say okay, it's the first game. Let's see what will happen. We do that game 1-1, right? First red flag. How can you play a left back as a left winger against Liverpool? Doesn't make sense. Why we have attackers on the bench? I know Kunk was not available, right? But it's not an excuse for a coach to play a left back as a left winger. Another red flag during that game. He played Liverpool as a left back, a centre back as a left back. This is a big red flag for me, for Mauricio Pochettino. Cool. Let's move around, right? We brought Moises Caicedo at Chelsea, right? You know what happened? He made Moises Caicedo a useless player because let's have it right. I think every team or every coaching staff analyzes their players whenever the club bought them, right? For example, we saw what Moses Caicedo can do at Brighton Football Club. At Chelsea is a different thing. I don't know what is happening. It's like a night and day situation. So overall, I don't know what is happening. Every time I watch Moses Caicedo, he look lost. He looks exposed. He's alone in the midfielder, and this thing is happening many times. Mauricio Pochettino is not sorting it out, right? Cool. Enzo Fernandez. Let's go to Enzo Fernandez. He played Enzo Fernandez as number 10. Please, guys, make it sense. How can you play Enzo Fernandez as number 10? A deep line playing midfielder. It's like playing Xavi Alonso as a number 10. That won't work, right? So that's another thing with Mauricio Pochettino. Cool. Let's go to the another points. this guy, this guy, come on. Let's go to the recent points, right? Against Liverpool in the Carabao final. Most Chelsea fans were excited that this is a chance Mauricio Pochettino wins a trophy, prove to the fans that he's not a spacey fan, right? Spurs fan, I mean, bottling every title, every chance to win a big trophy, a major trophy at his former club, Tottenham Spurs, right? During the 90th minute, cool. I blame the players. Nothing to do with Mauricio Pochettino. We should have won the game during the 90 minutes. But the extra time tactics, man, Mauricio Pochettino decided to play a low block, a counter attack football against Liverpool kids. I'm sorry. Club, I think, introduced 3 or 4 kids during that game, and we couldn't beat them, right? And then we lost that final to Liverpool and they won it. Okay, no problem. Now, recently, Chelsea Football Club concede 2 goals per game. I think it's 7 or 8 games in a row now at the moment. Mauricio Pochettino can't even sort it out. Come on. How can you say Mauricio Pochettino is a good enough coach, but he can't sort this mess around? This thing can happen over again and again. Something have to happen. Cool, right? Let's go to injuries now. Injuries are a part of football. I know we lost some key players due to injuries. I agree on that. I won't blame Mauricio Pochettino on that. But in certain players, I blame him. For example, Lavia. We know Lavia was not ready. Mauricio Pochettino playing him, I think, was 30 minutes or so. Even Leslie Okuchuku was out of injury. And then he played him the first game after he was out in injury. Please make it sense. Now we don't see Leslie Okuchuku anymore. It's not at common, it's not everywhere. I don't know what is happening, right? So overall, I think Marcelo Pochettino is doing so many things wrong. And every time we win games, we see Marcelo Pochettino bragging about, oh, I'm not a clown. I know what I'm doing. As Chelsea is not about winning. And when we draw a game or not win a game or we lost the game, he changed the tune. Oh, this is the process. You trust the process. These players need to develop. Blah 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 blah. Come on. Every time he don't do it well, he changes tune. I think he must stick to one thing. He must stick to one thing, which is winning matches. Chelsea fans can't accept drawing games like Burnley and Sheffield United. West Park, 19 and 12 and 19 and 20th place on the log. Please, guys, make it sense. I'm so tired of this manager. But overall, I've talked my few things about Mauricio Pochettino. Let me hear what Jersey is gonna say about Mauricio Pochettino. Also, what he's gonna say about defending this coach. Let's hear his thoughts. Jerry, it's up to you now.
Tobeho, you have made it so difficult for me to defend Pochettino with all the points and all the attacks you had on my man. My God, this is going to be a tough one. I will try, as always, as a Pochettino advocate, to defend the person, defend the gaffer. So, where do I start? I'll start it in a conventional way. So, if we have to see about any manager or any person who is in a job or in any profession, we have to see the profile. So, the profile of Pochettino working with a young squad is outstanding, in my opinion, right? 2 years of Southampton, 5 years of Tottenham is a 7 year framework that we have in front of us. And with the resources he had, he did wonders, I would say. And also, a lot of people in the media and all the journalists and experts concur to that. So I agree in the sense, because of course I have to say the truth, say the facts, that things are not good. I won't say, oh, it's amazing, Pochettino is doing amazing. No. But at the same time, we have to understand the reasons as well. It's so difficult, to identify, to understand. So what I'm trying to imply is, a man or any person who has done tremendous work for 7 years, would you look into that, or would you look into an 8 month period or 9 month period and make a conclusion? And yes, And yes, it's not a justification to say if someone was good for 7 years, then you should completely give him a clean slate and look, don't, and close your eyes and not look into the facts or not look into the variables that are there. So having said that, Pochettino does have a track record, right? With working with young players with limited budget. 9 players in England team were a product of Tottenham that made their debut for England. So it's a big thing if you see in a holistic way. 9 players made a debut for England international who played under Mauricio Pochettino. So and again, if we look at the games, people don't look at it. They have only memories of Battle of the Bridge or some other games or a few Tottenham Champions League. Because why would a Chelsea fan really watch Tottenham, right? But even if now someone can go and take a sample of 7 to 8 games from the 5 years of his Tottenham, it was a different. It's not what we are seeing right now. Even I was questioning him. I'm still questioning him. It's not that I am completely giving him a clean slate. Recently, I went back to the library. I paid for the services and watched 4 to 5 Tottenham games in the last 2 weeks. I was like, I'm am I missing something? But that Tottenham was different. They really played well. They played as a unit. They played as a structure. So now coming to the current situation, as we have already touched on the past, again, to his defense, why Poch in? It's not a rocket science. Everyone knows that the injury. You can say it's an excuse, but there's too many injuries, right? And these injuries are not didn't happen to a team which was already integrated or they had experience or they were working together. People only talk about injuries. They don't talk about a revamped squad, and that revamped squad in the last 2 to 3 windows, 90% of our players are sold, loaned, and 90% are new players. And among those players, we have half or 40% of the squad is injured. So it exponentially adds to that. Yes, a manager like Tuchel or Conte would do better, I would say, than Pochettino because they would utilize what they have and try to get the best out of it. That I would agree. Again, then we have to see and understand why. Like Pochettino is playing a system. You correctly identified. Your analysis are spot on with what's happening with Caicedo, with the defense, playing players out of position. That I understand, and that I also have a question about to an extent, right? Some of the time, or most of the times, it's because he doesn't have an option. But some of the time, I'd say it's unnecessary. He's over trying. I cannot defend him on that aspect of over trying, always changing the formation. But however, when it comes to his traditional playing at four at the back, using the uh, using the fullbacks high up on the pitch, that makes the central defenders vulnerable because there are only two of them. You would see Cucurella, Chilwell, whoever is playing, or Gusto, Reece James, whoever plays, on the right or the left, they are involved in the attack. They are always on the opposition side, right? So whenever there is a counter, you would see the central defenders alone, and Caicedo and Enzo running for their life to cover back. And I can understand it's a void, it's a huge void, it doesn't reflect well. But what I understand then is what Pochettino is trying to do is to prepare them, because he knows if we change or adapt, then it will be not what he wants in the future, right? He doesn't want to play a back three, let's put it this way, or play a certain defensive way. People can say he's rigid, or I would look into it into this way, that he has a certain philosophy which is not a wrong philosophy. He doesn't have the profile right now, or he doesn't have the players who are well equipped, integrated, or rehearsed to effectively do what he wants to do. So rather than going back, changing the tactics, changing the strategy Formation he is changing, which is unnecessary, I would say. He is still going with his way. As he said in the last press conference, he would like to play attacking football because that's what he has done throughout his life. So what I see again in that is he's trying to develop them. He knows if had integrated or changed the system or adapted to get the most of them in particular games, it would not have helped on a long term basis on developing them to get the task that he wants to do. Some may question that he should have done this, and when in the summer he got some additional play, he could have again went back to his tactics. But the thing is, then why you go back and forth again when he knows this is the pattern, this is how he wants to play? At least he's clear in his philosophy. What I'm trying to say, it is not working. It is not working, and then let's see why it is not working. When people say stats doesn't matter, I say it matters if we have a huge sample size. Now with 30 Premier League games, a number of Carabao Cup, FA Cup games, we have seen how many chances we have missed, how many big chances. And even till today, we are the second in the league in that. So it holds value. It does hold value. We are playing without a number nine, right? And to the question that when you said, and rightly so, that when Poch signed for Chelsea, he knew what he was going into. I know a lot of analysts and a lot of Chelsea content creators quote that, but I always think why they quote that. When he signed for Chelsea in May, I would say, right, 2023, he didn't know that he will have a dozen of injuries. He didn't sign for that. Reece James will not be available, Ben Chilwell will not be available, and Kunku will not be available. And then they didn't have a contingency plan to sign someone else, right? And most of the players that are signed, again, it's not official, but according to the various sources and what we understand, are not his signings. So he is a manager who could be utilized if given the tools and the setup to uh, optimize his performance. I know there are shortcomings. As I said, he's not a Mourinho or a Tuchel who would adapt, do it on the spot. He would need certain things to go his way, certain players, certain methodology to work with the environment that he wants to have. But given that he can succeed, so why Poch in is because we are ninth, which is not something to be proud of, where we are 6 points with a game in hand behind top six. Still a possibility to finish in the top six. Seasoned sides like Manchester United and Newcastle, who were in the top four last season, are neck to neck with us for the Europa spot. Okay, so again, so if we look into these things, we understand the issues, why Pochettino is having issues. Again, it doesn't, what I'm saying is giving the audience reasons why we can believe in Poch, why we should back Poch, and why he's the right guy for now. Will he take us to the dreamland, win the Premier League, UCL? But this is not even where Chelsea wants to be right now. Realistically, it will take at least 2 to 4 years to go and win the Premier League or UCL. He has just 1 year left on his contract, right? Only 1 year. That additional year is in the hands of the board to extend, and that extend 2 plus 1. That plus one is usually, let's say if Pochettino is doing well, but Chelsea wants another coach in summer of 2025, they would uh, they would extend his plus 1 year contract, so he does not leave on a free. Let's say right now, I know I cannot say they will be great suitors of Pochettino because of this season. Let's say if X club is interested in Poch, he wants to go, then Chelsea wants that plus 1 year to be extended so they can get 10 million or whatever for Poch XYZ. So it's just a formality. Basically, he just have 1 year left on his contract. So why not give him that 1 year? Rather go for another manager or go for a manager like De Zerbi and unknown managers. Why not go for Pochettino with the reasons I have mentioned? And when he's working with this squad, it's apparent that it will only improve with not just with additional signings. Let's say if we have a fitter squad, which we should. be optimistic and realistic given the issues we had with the recovery in the summer. Try to, I'm not saying everything will be perfect, but let's say if most of the squad would be fit, we have James available, Chilwell available, Lavia and Kunku available, and have a number nine, a new central defender. What is the probability that the team will do better under Pochettino and can challenge for the top four? I would say good, a very good chance. And at the same time, all these players who are training under him, playing for him, they should improve, most of them. Now, just to conclude, I think I've given a set of reasons why Pochettino is still the right guy for Chelsea. So, just to conclude, I would like to say that the injury question that you raised, another great question. Again, not we are not there, and it's not accessible even to the journalists. What is going on? It's we can only speculate that Pochettino's training methodology is resulting into that, and some of you or other content creators were quoting some ex-Tottenham players, but if you see again, Southampton and Tottenham for 7 years, mostly his squad were fit most of the times. They didn't face an injury-prone squad. They didn't have huge issues. If anything, they were very fit. Tottenham squad, I remember very well, were one of the fittest squad in the league, and they would do well. So again, we don't know. We really don't know what's happening, but that's true that his physical, I mean, that his training methodology is very physical. So overall, the thing is, if there are so many variables into play, and if we let the variables take the time, nurture, get the players back from injury, have more development, get some players that are correct for Mauricio Pochettino's profile, then I think the team can do wonders. I honestly still believe that. Is he the but at the end I would say, is he the best manager? Is he the best choice? I would say no, because I have to be always honest, and that's me. I don't want to change that. Is he the best option? No, I would still say Flick and Nagelsmann. I would still say that. But what are the chances we are getting these managers? According to the reports, we have none. So, in that context, I truly believe that we should give Pochettino another season, and let's see what happens. And in my opinion, it could be a great season.
Well, that's a new. To be honest, I don't agree with you what you're saying about giving him another season, because clearly Mauricio Pochettino can adapt to the situation, right? For example, from the game one until now, until the Sheffield United game, we have been having injuries over and over again. Can you tell me that Mauricio Pochettino can adapt to the situation? If Mauricio Pochettino is a good coach, knows what he's doing, can he adapt to the situation? Say, okay, if I have this certain injuries, I should do like this. For example, also another thing that I was annoyed about, against the Sheffield United game, right? He used Kalagalaga as a left winger. I'm not saying I hate the player or what. I said it before the game. Don't play three midfielders. It's not necessary against a low block team. Funny thing, Sheffield United didn't play low block, but he played Kanagalaga as a left winger. And then they asked him about why did you play him? He said Kanagalaga is on form, he give balance. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. I think if you're a good enough coach, you know when to play certain players, you know when you don't need them, right? Also, another thing, for example, I'm cutting out loud for the academy players now. For example, we used to have Malo Gusto and Rich James not available, both of them. And then Pochettino final thing, he played this as the right back. Is this as a right back? Can you please use one of the academy players play that role? I'm not saying play 10, 5 academy players at the same time. Just play one natural position, a right back, Joshua Achimpong, or you can play another one. It's up to you, right? That's the funny thing. Always playing players out of position, and you're saying you're developing them. Also, Alfie Kirkis is a center back, but always he plays him as a right back. How can the boy develop playing him as a right back, knowing that is a center back. It doesn't make sense. But overall, that's my thoughts about Mauricio Pochettino. So, what do you want to add about what I said?
What you said about the formations and playing players out of position, if you recall in my statement or the speech to defend Pochettino, I did address this point that I don't agree with these tactics. This is the one thing that I don't agree with Pochettino, but it doesn't mean that we neglect everything about him, his profile, and all the other things I mentioned. And why? Because we have to also understand why he's doing that. Only one journalist asked him, I think 2 or 3 months ago, a very short question, and for some reason Pochettino didn't answer because he took it as the journalist was trying to ask it in a negative way. So it also is the responsibility of the journalist, of the people in the media to ask this question. The only question I would like to ask Pochettino is why he's doing so. So I would like to understand without making a conclusion. There should be a reason for a very good manager to be doing this. There should be a reason, right? And why it's not a big issue, because we are not losing games because Cowell's playing as a left back, or Chilwell was playing as a winger, or some other players were playing, or Enzo, as you said, for a few games played as a 10. If we see the key moments of the game, either in attack when we are not scoring or the defense when we lead the goals, most of the times, of course, these formations would have made some would have given some bad results. But most of the times, the positional aspects or the formation is not the reason why we are losing games or drawing games. And one last thing to try and defend Pochettino is one big thing or one main concern of the fan base, and rightly so, I would say, if you just see this season, is that Pochettino team are not good against low blocks. Chelsea is not good against low blocks. So yeah, of course, if you see the season, that's true. That's 100% true. So what I would do, or how I read or assess things, I will look into the games for. I'm coming to that, to the low blocks. I would say, apart from a 4-1 thrashing that we suffered against Liverpool, against all of the teams, big teams, we played well. When we lost to 4-1 to Newcastle as well. So these two games, but most of the home and away games, 80% of the games, both against City, Arsenal, Spurs, Man United win, and the two games are remaining that I'm confident against Arsenal and Tottenham. We play very well against these teams. Okay, that's good enough, I'm saying, right? That's a positive sign. But of course, when you play the league, you fight for the top four or the Premier League, you have to play 19 games and you have to play 12 to 13 teams that are not good enough. And you play at least 10 teams who would defend and have a low block or park the bus. And those wins are important. But again, I have to go back again to Southampton, especially Tottenham. At Tottenham, he would draw or lose to Klopp, Guardiola, Manchester United, Chelsea. Like his win ratio is 20 something against the top four teams with Tottenham. Like every 2 or 3 games he win from the 10 games against top four. But his win record against low blocks or lower level or lower standing teams was magnificent at Tottenham. So it's not a Pochettino problem. It's a Chelsea problem. I mean, Chelsea problem of now, of this season or the last season, or the profile of the players. So in that context, I'm confident that it would be solved. Pochettino did very, very well with Tottenham against the smaller teams. When Pochettino was appointed, Mark Goldbridge made a video and addressed the Chelsea fans. Okay, you got a manager, he's good, but you won't win anything with him. Why? He said he would beat all the teams, the low block teams, the lower level teams, the teams in the second half, or even the teams outside top six. Anyone can go and check his video at that time, April, May, when Poch was appointed last season. He said, but he will struggle against the big clubs, because at Tottenham it was like that. But this is not the problem. He's doing well against the big teams. He's struggling against the small teams. So the point is that this could be solved and will be solved eventually. We need to understand maybe it's misprofiling of the players. The players are not good enough, right? Whenever, and just to conclude, it's been already half an hour, which we decided. So just to conclude, whenever Chelsea win or do well, we say Palmer saved Pochettino. Of course, if we go in the history of Chelsea, Real Madrid, Man United, all the good players always win you games. He only has one player who is really doing well. So why don't we look at the other side and say the other players are not good enough, right? Palmer is playing well. If okay, and I do understand that he was with Guardiola for what 2 3 seasons. He trained with the best, so he learned a lot from there. I was the first one to say that back in August. We are getting the product of Guardiola. But if Poch were that bad, his game would have also not developed or gone south. But he's improving under Pochettino. Gallagher improved under Pochettino. I'm just saying, Enzo has played very well, but I think there is a issue, as I said, what how Pochettino wants to play, attacking, fluid, very high line game, and Enzo Fernandez in the transitional phase sometimes struggle due to his pace or the players around him not playing optimals. There are other reasons as well, right? Caicedo, Enzo, in my opinion, people can say a lot. They have different views, but in the Pochettino system, I don't. From the first day, I was not convinced that they are not in optimal formation under Pochettino system to play together. So these are the issues. So Modric is now. I have a question mark on Modric as a huge fan, and everyone must have remembered. I have said he's one of the best players, one of my favorite players. But now I have a question mark. Is he really good enough? We can always discuss. He didn't give him enough time, but is Modric really good enough? Sterling, I don't have to talk about Sterling. We all know what Sterling is doing, what he has done. 3 very good games out of 10 with every manager he has played under. So we don't have the players. Jackson is not a striker. He had to play his Jackson because there is no Nkunku. There was Broya. Broya left. Sometimes, so most of the times Jackson is playing as a 9. These are the issues. Disasi, Badiashile, Thiago Silva, of course, Mother Nature finally caught him, and Pochettino gave him a lot of time. But you can see now, even before in January, February, Thiago Silva was struggling a lot. So these are some issues. Some of the players are really not good enough. Some of them are good, need time, they have potential. Like Caicedo, I would say overpriced. I'm not shy to say. You can say he's an excellent player. In Brighton, he did well, but it was just one season. Most of the players in Brighton did well, not Caicedo. He was not the outstanding player of Brighton, right? He was a very, very good player in Brighton. But Brighton in the last season, the way they played, everyone played well, right? I think Caicedo is overrated, I would say. I know some of the people would not like that. Maybe in 2, 3 times he can become a very good player. He's an overrated player. Enzo Fernandez is world class. Caicedo is good at best right now, I would say. So people think because of the 115, 17 million price tag, Caicedo is exceptional. I think waste of money. Lavia is not here, and Kunku didn't play, as I said. Gusto is playing very well most of the times, apart from few games under Pochettino. Cucurella is playing well. The problem is in defense, and it's because in transition off the ball we are struggling, and I think it can only improve. So this is my speech, my 2 different sections of delivery on why the fans should think rationally, objectively, and support Pochettino. And this season could still end well with a potential top 6 finish and an FA Cup.
Okay, I won't disagree with you or agree with you. This is your opinion about Marcel Pochettino. But guys on the chat, please let us know what do you think about the podcast. Let us know also, are you Poch in, are you Poch out? If you're Poch in, let us know why you're Poch in. If you're Poch out, let us know why you're Poch out. Also, most importantly, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share the channel to everyone you know. Jerry Z, thank you very much for this podcast. Hopefully, we'll read some comments.
Yeah, please subscribe to the coolest channels, one of the best channels, and Tobeho is unbelievably talented. Like it's an honor always to come on his platform. His knowledge, not only his in-game knowledge, knowledge about Chelsea, but as far as recruitment is concerned, upcoming managers, different players in Europe, in other leagues. I'm astonished. It's unbelievable his knowledge and to identify talent. If you talk about him, about the Portugal league, the Holland league, the different leagues, the German league, he would be the first one to let you know that this is a player, about his profile, about everything about that player. So it's fascinating, the wealth of knowledge that this guy has. So he needs all the support. He's still growing, and I'm sure that he will be one of the best uh, Chelsea content creator in due time. Come on.